Hi everyone, welcome. In this new series, I will show you how to model objects if you are new to 3D modeling or you have no experience in 3D modeling. And this is the first one in the series. I will use only 3 or 4 modeling tools and only 2 primitive objects. So it's not going to be very complicated. It's gonna be really simple and easy to follow. I will increase the difficulty gradually in the next videos. Let's get started. Now let's create our first primitive object. Click here and select cube. I will change my Y size to 100 centimeters. Also, I'm gonna change my Z size to 100 centimeters. Now I will make my cube editable. Press C or you can click here. Now I will change the edge mode. Or you can change the polygon mode. So first, let's select this front polygon, right click, select extrude inner. After that, I will right click one more time and select extrude. Just like that. Alright, now let's use Subdivision Surface to make these edges softer. To do that, let's create a Subdivision Surface and put our object into the Subdivision Surface. Make a child of it. So Subdivision Deformer or modifier basically divides each polygon into 16 polygons at default, but it divides them in a such way that it always wants to curve the surface or the polygons. This is where we use sporting edges or cuts to change that curve. You can see that each polygon is divided into 16 polygons. So now let's use loop cut. Right click, select loop cut. And we select our loop cut. Our viewport will show the original mesh. Let's put our first loop cut or sporting edge right here and right here. Let's do that for every corner. Also, let's cut right here. Let's not forget the back sides. At default, Subdivision Surface comes with 2 Subdivision Editor and Subdivision Renderer. Subdivision Editor, what you see in the viewport, and Subdivision Renderer, what you will get when you render your object. So let's make it 3 for both of them. Now let's create other primitives. I will click here and select cylinder, change its orientation to Z, because Z is the face we are looking at. Then I will click here. This is the model mode. If you click that dot, this is gonna change the size or reduce. Let's make it something like 32. Move it here. You can change the height with these dots. Let's make it 50, then move it here. Then I will make it editable, just like we did in this cube. Press C or click here. Now we can access the polygons of the object. Switch to polygon mode, click here. Select these polygons with live selection tool. Right click, select extrude inner. After that, I will move these polygons on the Z-axis. Then I will make another extrude inner, right click, select extrude inner, right click, select extrude. After that, let's make another extrude inner, a really small extrude inner. Then we can go back to extrude, right click, select extrude. That's all. Now let's put that cylinder under our subdivision surface. So in order to subdivision surface to work in two objects, we need to make these two objects into one group. To do that, I can create a null and put these objects into that null. After that, I will put that null in under my subdivision surface. This is the hierarchy. We need to use the subdivision surface for two or more objects. Or you can just select them and press Alt and G. Now let's try to make these supporting edges for this cylinder too. Right click, select loop cut, and at these cuts, right at these edges. To make the edges more sharper, we can add two cuts. Let's create our second cylinder. Change the orientation. Change the size or reduce. Let's make it 32, just like the other one. And move it somewhere here. Let's make the height 50 centimeters. And move it something like that. Then I will make it editable. Click here or press C. Switch to polygon mode. Select all these front faces, polygons. Right click, extrude inner. After that, I will use extrude. Another extrude inner. Another extrude. One more time, extrude inner. After that, I will make another extrude inner. And move these polygons on the z-axis. Let's scale these points, edges. Just switch to edge mode, double click on the edges, then press here. This is the scale tool, or you can press T. And I am going to slightly scale these. All right, let's put that cylinder under our subdivision surface group. Now, let's add our supporting edges. Right click, select loop cut. I want to extrude these center polygons. Let's do that. Right click, select extrude, and select extrude. I will make another cut for these front polygons. We can add another one here and maybe here. Let's make that cylinder a little bigger. I will scale it with the T, or you can press here and move it. Now I will create another cylinder, change the orientation, radius and height. Now I will move that cylinder until it touches the surface or the polygons. Let's go to display and enable all lines so we can see the polygons. In this cylinder, I won't need these height segments. So let's make it 1 and make the cylinder editable. Press C or click here. Now I will switch to polygon mode, select these front polygons with the live selection tool, switch to scale tool or press C, and I will slightly scale these front polygons. Now all I need to do is add supporting edges or loop cuts. Right click, select loop cut. But let's not forget to put that new cylinder into our subdivision surface group. I will add my first loop cut here and here. Let's make another copy of that new cylinder. Press Ctrl and move your object on the y-axis. This is gonna create a new duplicate. Also, let's move them just like that. I will add the last loop cut here and here. All right, now let's create our last cylinder, change orientation. Height and radius. This time, this cylinder will be very small. Let's enable all lines in the viewport. This time I will change my height segments to 1 as well. And make it editable. Press C and put that under our subdivision group. Now we will need to add our loop cuts. To do that, let's switch to edge mode. Right click, select loop cuts. This time I want these edges to be softer. To do that, I will double click on these edges. By the way, you can activate Subdivision Surface by pressing Q. I will move these edges just like that. This is gonna give me softer edges, just like that. Or we can do the opposite of that. Just move these edges to the very close to the next ones. Now let's create something for the bottom. I will again create another cylinder. This time I am not going to change my orientation. I will just change my height. Let's move it like that. Let's change our radius. 9 is good. 10 is good for the height. Let's make it 5. I will enable my lines one more time. Since this is a very flat cylinder, we will not use any, or we will not need any height segments. So let's make it 1 and make it editable. I will put that into my subdivision surface group, which means we will need supporting edges. Right click, make sure that you are on edge mode or polygon mode. Right click, select loop cut, and add these loop cuts. Now I will place that cylinder here. Then I will press Ctrl and move my object. This is gonna create a new duplicate. Now I can do the same thing for these two objects. Select them, press Ctrl, and drag the objects. Now let's try to unwrap these objects UVs. But first thing, I need to rename these objects because they all have the same names. And a little bit organization. Let's turn off Subdivision Surface so you can select the objects easily. Let's select these 4 objects and I'm gonna move them right here. Then rename that. Let's rename that to button 1. Then I will copy the name, Ctrl C, double click on the second object and Ctrl V. But this time I'm going to change the name to button 2, and I will do the same thing for these other 2 objects. Let's select that one. What is that? This is light, so let's name that light object or indicator. This one, let's name that button 2. This one, speaker. This one, another button. Let's name button 3. This is our base cube. I'm just gonna rename that base. Now we can start the UV unwrap. To do that, let's change our layout to UV edit. Let's start from the top. So just like in the 3D view, I will switch to polygon mode, or you can switch to edge mode. But in this case, I will work with polygons. I will select all the polygons and I'm gonna just say UV unwrap. Just like that. Now we have 3 identical objects which have the same polygon and edge count, so we can use these first objects UVs. To do that, I will delete the other 3 objects UV tags. Just select them and delete. Then I will select the first one's UV tag, press Ctrl and drag that UV tag to other objects, just like that. So now all these objects have the same UV. Let's select light, select other polygons, UV unwrap. But make sure that you don't select any other object's UV tag. Just click somewhere else in the layout. Then select your light, select other polygons, say UV unwrap. Perfect. Let's do the same thing for that button. Select all, UV unwrap. But this time, these polygons are slightly rotated, but it is really easy to fix that. Just switch to edge mode, select that vertical edge, and say align UV islands. This is gonna fix that. Let's go to base, select all the polygons, UV unwrap. Sorry, I selected all the edges, not edges. Select all the polygons, switch to polygon mode, and UV unwrap. So this time, this automatic UV unwrap didn't give me a good result. But we can change the type that we unwrap these polygons. For this one, let's go to automatic UV and select angle. I think this is gonna give us a better result. And say apply. Yes, as you can see, now we have a better UV. Alright guys, I think these are enough for the basics of modeling and UV unwrapping. I hope you learned something new and like the video, and I'll see you in the next tutorials. Bye.